Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host Michael Pickering. That's right, Lo-Fi's and low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? With our third story being that lo-fi style country profile featuring South Africa. Now straight to it, the news fresh off the press. Source, Reuters World News. Brazil's Bolsonaro says time to end abuses of Supreme Court. That's right, the Supreme Court of Brazil is investigating the president, as it did with the previous two presidents, and wouldn't you know, Bolsonaro, he ain't having it. The implications. Since Bolsonaro's election, there has been a growing fear of anti-democratic backsliding in the country. Corruption has captured the headlines of the country for years now, and the president doesn't want to be part of it. But what will Bolsonaro do? What can he do? Write in, Lo-Fi Nation. Should we be expecting some major political shakeup that'll affect judicial independence of the Supreme Court? I want to know your thoughts on this one. Next up, source, Reuters World News. China says it has agreed with India to de-escalate border situation. On Monday, the Indian and Chinese militaries clashed, resulting in as many as 20 Indian soldiers' deaths. This happened around the disputed Himalayan area between the two countries. The implications. This agreed de-escalation is good news for sure, because ain't nobody got time for this with what global conditions currently are. However, this agreement of de-escalation by no means signals an end to the dispute over the territory. We'll simply have to wait and see how the talks shape up moving forward. And mentioning moving forward, now it's time for our country profile of the day featuring South Africa. Geography lesson, Lo-Fi Nation. South Africa is bordered by the Indian Ocean to the east, the Antarctic Ocean to the south, and the Atlantic Ocean to the west. Side note, I know they have new names, but I refuse, just as I refuse to say Pluto is not a planet. To the northwest of South Africa is Namibia. I repeat, Namibia. To the direct north is Botswana, which is east of Namibia. I repeat, Namibia. Toward the northeast is Zimbabwe, then Mozambique, and Eswatini. Also, South Africa is one of the few countries to have a country within itself, with Lesotho. The Independence Day of the country is 1931, but we all know it's really 1994. The World Bank GDP per capita in 2018 was just over $6,300 a year. Freedom House, covering civil liberties and civil rights around the world, gave South Africa a 79 out of 100 in 2019, up 1 point from the year before, and a free rating. Reporters Without Border, ranking 180 countries and territories across the globe via media freedoms, puts South Africa at number 31 out of 180 in 2019, down 3 spots from the year before. And Transparency International, with its ranking of 198 countries and territories across the globe via their Corruption Perception Index, places South Africa at number 70 of 198. Now, what's been happening in South Africa lately? Source, BBC News, Africa section. 8 arrested over notorious South Africa bank scandal. These individuals were collected in a coordinated raid for the stealing from and eventual collapse of the VBS Bank, which helps people in the more developing areas of the country. The event took place in 2018 with over $100 million being stolen. The implications. There are many politicians that are connected to this crime, and if the ousting of former ANC member and President Jacob Zuma shows anything, it's that being part of the ANC no longer protects you against government corruption. We'll be looking out for updates on this story for sure. And now for our headline in the spotlight segment, because this little country wasn't getting enough attention, so they decided to blow something up. Source, BBC News, Asia section. South Korea Unification Minister offers to resign over tensions with North. I decided to do a Top 10 Tuesdays, and what happens yesterday? North Korea decides to blow up its liaison's office with South Korea because reasons. And now the Unification Minister of South Korea is offering to resign? Why? You didn't blow up the building, and there's no way you could have helped this situation. The background and implications of this story. Hold on a second, Lo-Fi Nation. I gotta holla at Kim real quick. Hey Kim, it's not Messy Monday. Come on now, knock that shit off. Blowing up a building that made to help cooperation between two countries and bring peace to a war that's technically still going on since 1950? Get out of here with that messiness. Ain't nobody got time for that. Sorry, Lo-Fi listeners. Moving forward. And a last piece of news from Forbes. I know, I'm surprised as well. The headline: there are at least 36 intelligent alien civilizations in our galaxy, says scientist. Oh, really now? In the Milky Way galaxy? 36 intelligent alien civilizations? And how exactly do you wonderful sciencey folk know this, you may ask? Well, the non-sciencey answer: they do some math with estimates of about 100 to 400 billion stars in our galaxy, and make some assumptions about the likelihood of developing life on Earth and other places, and then do some more math, and voila, the possibility of 36 intelligent alien civilizations is what they come up to. The implications. For a more in-depth analysis, read the article. Or rather, read the science article that was published by the researchers at the University of Nottingham. The point: it's extremely unlikely that we are alone in this universe. Even if you don't like the number 36 in our own galaxy, and you believe it's far less, there's still an additional 100 to 200 billion other galaxies in the universe. It's mind-blowing to think about, I know. And I'd have to do a much longer than 5-minute newscast in order to cover all those galaxies. Though I gladly would, from Lunar University. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with your questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thank you for listening. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering